Hey there, and welcome to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck Talk Showcase. Today's deck we're going to take a look at is the Toon deck build. Now this is one that's currently a tier 1 basically in the meta right now. It's a really powerful set of cards. It's got a lot of protection now, courtesy of Maximilian Pegasus' level 40 card that you're able to get, which was the Toon Kingdom card, but we'll get to that in a moment. So what I want to do is go through this deck setup and really just kind of get a feel for the deck, and then maybe give it one little play test and see where we go from there, and we'll see it in action. So let's get into some of the cards. So the first one we have here is Toon Dark Magician Girl. It's the level 6 spellcaster, 2000 attack, 1700 defense. It cannot be normal summoned or set and must first be special summoned from your hand by attributing one monster while you control Toon World. If Toon World on the field is destroyed, destroy this card. It can't attack your opponent directly unless they control a Toon monster, in which case this card must target a Toon monster for its attacks. This card gains 300 attack for every Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in either player's graveyard. So this card is excellent because there really is no stipulation as to whether you have to hold off until the next turn to attack, and you notice how this card does not tell you that you need to pay a certain amount of life points to attack your opponent. So that's what this card is really good. You're only able to get one copy of it because it was an event exclusive from the Maximilian Pegasus event last go around. So this card was absolutely worth getting a hold of. I'd love to get more copies than just that. So the next one we have here is Toon Summon Skull, another level 6. It's a Fiend Toon, and it's got a 2500 attack, 1200 defense. And this card is always treated as an Archfiend card. Now it cannot be normal summoned or set, and cannot be special summoned unless you control Toon World. It must first be special summoned from your hand by tributing the same number of monsters needed for a tribute summon, normally 1. But this card cannot attack during the turn it's special summoned. See, there's a limitation there. But then you must pay 500 life points to declare an attack with this monster. If Toon World on the field is destroyed, destroy this card. This card can attack your opponent directly unless they control a Toon monster, and if they do control one, this card must target a Toon monster for its attacks. So this card is good just in the sense that you're able to get it from the card trader, so you're able to get 3 copies of it, as you see that I have here. I finally got my 3rd one today, which is why now I'm doing this deck showcase. I wanted to wait until I got the 3rd one. But the thing is, this card does cost 500 for each attack, so it is not the most ideal situation, but with a 2500 attack directly going into your opponent's life points, you know, it's well worth it. And we do have other strategies to help keep our life points up in case we have to swing multiple times with a card like Toon Summon Skull. But next, first we'll take a look at Toon Masked Sorcerer. It's a level 4 spellcaster toon. This was another one you were able to get through the Maximilian Pegasus event. Now, this cannot attack the turn it's summoned. If Toon World on the field is destroyed, destroy this card. While you control Toon World and your opponent controls no Toon monsters, this card can attack your opponent directly, and if this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, draw 1 card. So this is cool because it attacks your opponent's life points directly, and then you get a +1 into your hand, and hopefully you could combo that out in your next turn and potentially get some bigger plays. The only downside is, of course, its low attack of 900. So yeah, it's you know, it is what it is. But I just want a copy of it just because I don't have 3 copies of Toon Mermaid. But we'll get to that card in a second. What I first want to look at here is Skullmark Ladybug. This is a card you can farm out of Weevil if you're going against Legendary Duelist. Skullmark Ladybug is level 4, 500 attack, 1500 defense, and when this card is sent to the graveyard, you increase your life points by 1000 points. So why do I run 2 copies of this card in this deck? Well, because what you're able to do is normal summon Skullmark Ladybug onto the field, and then tribute summon it for Toon Summon Skull, because it counts as a special summon, so you don't necessarily only have 1 summon per turn. That's the nice part about these Toon cards. You could get all your action going in the same turn more often than not. So utilizing that, you also get that 1000 increase in your life points, so that way when your Toon Summon Skull goes to attack, you're not just in the negatives with your life points. You've already gained 1000 in the first place, so you're going to net 500 that turn if your Toon Summon Skull is the only Toon monster that you're going to be utilizing the attack for. But yeah, that's possible. That's pretty much why I like to run Skullmark Ladybug. Really no other reason aside from that. Next card we have is Toon Mermaid, level 4 Aqua Toon, 1400 attack, 1500 defense. It cannot be normal summon or set and cannot be special summoned unless you control a face-up Toon World. It must first be special summoned from your hand by attributing the same number of monsters needed for a tribute summon, and this one it's normally 0. And this card can't attack the turn it's special summoned, and it's the same kind of deal as Summon Skull, where you have to pay 500 life points when you attack. Now it's got the same effect when Toon World's destroyed. You destroy this card as well. But basically this card is great because you could have multiple copies of this card, and once you have Toon World on the field, you could special summon them all out onto the field rather easy, because it's not requiring a normal summon to get it on the field. So that's why Toon Mermaid is a great card to have. What I have next is an Owl of Luck, and this is the Winged Beast flip monster with 300 attack, 500 defense. You select one field spell card from your deck and place it on top of your deck. So if Necro Valley is on the field, it's got an extra effect to it, but we don't run Necro Valley, obviously. So what this card is meant to do is to search out Toon Kingdom and place it on top of your deck. So that's kind of the gist of it. Now the next card here, you can get multiple copies of this one, Planet Pathfinder, level 4 machine, 1000 attack, 1000 defense. You can tribute this card and add one field spell card from your deck to your hand. Now this is a better situation. This is the card that more often than not you want to ideally have, because that way you get your Toon Kingdom into your hand right away, unlike the Owl of Luck here, which it puts it on the top of your deck, so you still have to wait that extra turn before you get that Toon Kingdom. So in a perfect world, you want to run Planet Pathfinder, but I do like to run an Owl of Luck just because I want to have at least one card to search out a field spell, in the process. So that's kind of the whole setup as far as the monsters are concerned. Now let's get into the spells. So first we have Toon Kingdom. This is the absolute driver of the deck. This is the card that you want to have in your first turn, no matter what. When this card is activated, banish 3 cards from the top of your deck face down. This card's name becomes Toon World while in the field zone. Your opponent cannot target Toon monsters you control with card effects. If a Toon monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish 1 card from the top of your deck face down for each of those monsters instead. So this is the ultimate form of protection. This is the card that you need to have on the field. It protects all of your Toon monsters, and just keeps them floating around and keeps them from being targeted from card effects. So how do you protect your Toon Kingdom then? Well, I'm so glad you asked, because we run 3 copies of Magic Reflector. You target 1 face-up spell card you control and place 1 counter on it. If it would ever be destroyed, remove the counter instead. So ideally, you want to see this card in your hand when you're able to get your Toon Kingdom. That way you can protect that Toon Kingdom in case your opponent is using some kind of spell or trap cards to clear your spell cards or your field card on the field. So at least that way it gives it more opportunities to stay on the field and gives it more opportunities to protect your Toon monsters, because this card you do not want to see disappear. Then you got Toon Table of Contents. This card is a really, really good one. This is one that you can unlock with Maximilian Pegasus as you level him up. You add 1 Toon card or Manga Raiyaran from your deck to your hand. Now notice how it says Toon card. What that means is that you could not only search out a card like maybe Toon Mermaid, but you could also search out Toon Kingdom. As long as it's got Toon in the name, you can search it out using Toon Table of Contents. So what I like to do is, if I already have a Toon Kingdom in my hand, I would ideally like to search out a Toon Dark Magician Girl and hopefully make a play from there. And it could work out real well. And what I just do in the meantime, and this is not necessary, is I just run another copy of Toon World, just in case I don't get Toon Kingdom for one reason or another, and Toon World happens to show up in my hand. I can still try and get some combos going. It just does not offer any type of protection like Toon Kingdom would. But you still got to activate this card by paying 1,000 life points, so it is what it is. Now I see people using Maximilian Pegasus's effect. It's a Toon World, so you start the game with Toon World on the field. That's also a good perk. I still don't even have that skill yet, and I've leveled them up all the way to 40. I just have not unlocked that skill yet. I've unlocked multiples of all the other skills, basically. I've even got extra. I've just got a ton of different skills from Pegasus, but I did not get It's a Toon World, so not a whole lot I could do about that one. But then the next card here is Toon Rollback, and this is the ultimate card to pair up with your Toon Dark Magician Girl or your Toon Summon Skull. What it does is you target 1 Toon monster you control, and it can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. So your ideal play is maybe you're going second. You could get your Toon Mermaid onto the field after you get your Toon Kingdom on the field, tribute out for Toon Dark Magician Girl one way or another, and then just use your Toon Table of Contents and attack for game in 1 turn. That's kind of the whole strategy here, or you want to do something similar even with your Toon Summon Skull. but that's your ideal perfect play. It'll be a first turn that you're able to attack. It'll be just a first turn kill, I mean, or an OTK, so to speak, a one-turn kill. That's the whole setup, that's the name of the game, that's the strategy of this deck, and you really got a lot of the pieces to make that happen, unless your opponent is also playing Toon monsters, in which case it makes things a little interesting. So we can get into that at a later date, but now that you see the whole layout of how this deck is currently set up, let's take a look at a practice duel. So let's see how it goes. Alright, so we're getting ready to duel here. We're going up against a Legend Rank 2, Joey Wheeler versus Bandit Keith. Now we're Bandit Keith because we like to run Restart, and Bandit Keith is my character that has Restart, so we're going first. If we don't get a good hand, we'll use Restart, and this is about as good of a hand as you're going to get, so I'm not going to use the skill, and you'll see why. We'll put down Toon Kingdom first. We'll have it set on the field, that way we can start summoning our Toon monsters. So we're going to put a Toon Mermaid down in defense position so we can protect it and not take a whole lot of life points of damage if our opponent decides to attack into it. We'll do the same thing for the other one, and now we'll special summon our Summon Skull over one of those two. So now we got a pretty good field set up, and I feel comfortable ending the turn on that. So yeah, this is about as good of a start as you're going to get. Ideally, you'd want a Toon Dark Magician Girl and a Toon Rollback, but you know, can't complain here, can't complain. So hopefully by the next turn we should be able to attack pretty well, and maybe not necessarily for game, but we should get pretty far along, maybe bring them down to 100 life points. So we'll see. So it looks like it's a classic Red Eyes deck now. So you got that plain vanilla Red Eyes, used cards of the Red Stone, and yep, he's going to put 2 Red Eyes into the graveyard. So maybe we might see some Red Eyes Spirit play or something along those lines to get that out there. But other than that, I mean, this is a pretty sweet setup so far, at least for us. I couldn't be happier. Now, the only thing I would prefer is a Magic Reflector, too, just in case he's got anything to take out my field spell. Then it's kind of game over for the Toon player, that's for sure. But looks like he's just setting a ton of cards right now, so he's got 3 set cards and ending the turn. So, yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape so far. And there we go, we got a Magic Reflector, so let's use it right away. No hesitation, just use it. Try and protect that Toon Kingdom if we can. Not sure if he's got any negate traps or anything along those lines. It looks like he does. So he's got Ultimate Providence. Really good card. So yeah, he's negating that. So hopefully he's got no other negation or spell removal cards. So we'll just enter battle phase. Let's see if we could swing for 2,500 as we absorb that 500 life point cost. We'll do the same thing here with Toon Mermaid. So we're down to 3,000, but our opponent's down to 100 now. So it's going to take one more turn unless our opponent can get rid of our Toon Kingdom. But we're still leaving that Toon Kingdom pretty vulnerable now that that Magic Reflector did not work. But I'm feeling pretty good about this right now. He's only got 1 card in the hand. Well, he's still needs to draw, so he's going to have 2 cards in the hand. And yeah, not a whole lot else. So he's got nothing to stop me. This should be a pretty clear win. Okay, so now he's using Roll and Boost. Not too familiar with what that skill does. But yeah, we'll see where this one goes. So he rolled a 5. Okay. Not really sure what else he could do on top of that unless he's got some other cards to set. Yeah, so he's setting 1, and I'm not sure what else he could do. So he's ending his turn. So now it's back on us, drawing a Planet Pathfinder. Okay, well we have a non-Toon monster, so I guess what I want to do is just set that in defense position in case all of our monsters get destroyed. At least we'll protect our life points in the meantime. So let's enter the battle phase here. We're going to attack directly with Toon Summon Skull in case he's got a Red Eye Spirit. And let's see what we're going to go for here. Our opponent's thinking. So, yep, he's got a Red Eye Spirit. Going to activate that, but it's not a Toon monster, so we can still attack directly. That's why I'm not too worried. I'm not sure what kind of plays got up his sleeve. But yeah, from there, we're still going to attack directly. So, yep, we're going to say yes to attack opponent directly, and this would have been a different story, I guess, if we were trying to attack Red Eyes. Yeah, good thing we didn't attack Red Eyes, because he's got a Metal Morph, so that boosts the attack of that Red Eyes, but we're going to swing right past it and swing for game. You could see the power that you have when you're running a Toon type deck like this. I mean, you really just can bypass just a whole lot of situations that your opponent can try and throw at you. You know, a lot of those cards like Super Rush Headlong, anything along those lines where your opponent would be expecting you to attack into one of their monsters doesn't apply to you. As long as you got your Toon Kingdom or your Toon World out on the field, your Toon monsters are just going to start swinging directly into your opponent's life points. So you could see what all the commotion is about with these Toon decks and how you can get some pretty quick victories if you have all the pieces. Now my one concern, and this is one that I've seen other players who have played Toon decks have said the same thing, this deck does tend to brick quite a bit. And what I mean by brick is that you're going to get a lot of clogged hands that aren't going to have really any of the pieces you're going to need to get your Toon combo going. There's been situations where I'll have a starting hand with, say for example, 2 Toon Summon Skulls, a Toon Dark Magician Girl, and then I'll have maybe Toon Kingdom. And you'd think, okay, this isn't so bad. I have my Toon Kingdom here. Maybe next turn I'll draw into a Toon Mermaid or some other card that's a level 4 or lower so I could start doing tribute plays, and you never end up getting the card that you want. So your opponent's just attacking you directly because you really have nothing to put out on the field. Those are the situations that I've seen this deck really bricking a lot. But having Restart allows you at least 2 chances to get a lot of the pieces that you need to try and get your combo plays going and get your powerful Toon monsters on the field as soon as possible while having Toon Kingdom on there. So, yeah, overall, when this deck works, kind of like it just did in this duel, it can be really powerful and really hard to stop. That's, I guess, the one complaint from players on the other end of things. However, it seems like even in the most recent World Championships, Toons did not fare so well. But that just goes to show you that, you know, with all the other decks going on in the meta, there are plenty of answers to Toons. But from a pure perspective of playing with a Toon deck, this one is just so much fun. I really enjoy playing this deck, and I'd like to do some more duels and possibly update if we get another Maximilian Pegasus event. First of all, I want that 3rd Toon Mermaid, which I do not have as of right now. Second, you never know if he's going to give out any more Toon Dark Magician Girls. That would be the best play to have as well for right now. And maybe even another Toon Rollback or another Toon Table of Contents, something like that. I mean, it would be great in an upcoming event. But then these decks would get even better, and they're already essentially a tier 1 deck right now. So it's pretty fun as it is. It's got its drawbacks, but it's got a lot of good pros. So if you've built a Toon deck and have had fun, or maybe not so much fun playing with it, I'd like to hear your opinion and your take on it. Feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at YuGiOh Deck Talk. It's all one word at YuGiOh Deck Talk, and it's somewhere on the screen. I think it's off to the side. You will see my Twitter handle over there at YuGiOh Deck Talk. But yeah, I really appreciate you tuning in for today's episode. This was a fun duel. This was just a fun deck overall. I really got into it too much, but it's just fun to discuss the strategy along those lines. So if you want to see more of these episodes and you enjoy seeing these types of deck showcases, just give the video a like, leave a comment, subscribe, do whatever you want. But yeah, the subscriptions really help. It really tells me that you do want to see some more of these kind of videos. You do want to see some more dueling. You do want to see some more visual deck profiles, because I know this is mostly a podcast, but doing these videos every once in a while really kind of switches things up and makes it a lot more fun for me too. I guess aside from some of the viewers, because they seem to be doing pretty well and a lot of people seem to like them. So yeah, just show your support. That just lets me know that I should make more videos. So yeah, anyway, that's it for today's showcase. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.